I have got to get me one of these. Woo!
I'm happy you picked that one.
Yeah. While on the topic of intros, I just want to say there's a couple of things that sometimes I want to do an intro, but it's not just one line, so I can't really do it. It's like a back and forth between characters. I wanted to try to find a way to do the part with the cigars, where the Jeff Goldblum's dad gives them the cigars before they take off. And he goes, "Oh, almost put a hex on the whole damn thing." I almost just said that, but I don't know. But maybe one time we'll work on like a back and forth between you and me for the intro.
That's a pretty good idea. We'll definitely talk about
that. Welcome to the Squadcast movie podcast, episode number 32, I believe.
You are correct.
Yeah. I was actually remembered this time. So, and we went off of Latrell's recommendations, and he picked two alien disaster movies. So, all right.
Go figure.
Now, one of them is very fitting because it's Independence. 4th of July was just here, and Independence Day is one of the movies. The other one is Mars Attacks. And these movies have some similarities. It's also kind of funny that you picked these two together, Latrell, because one of them is kind of making fun of the other in a way. You know what I mean?
Literally is. And one of the things that I was looking at when I was thinking of these, or I had looked previously at when picking these movies before, the day I brought them up, was the box office and how they both worked in the box office, and one of these made so much money while the other one barely made any. So
I imagine yeah.
Yeah. And I actually have notes about that I'll get to once we actually dive into the movies, but it is actually crazy between the budgets of the movie and how much they actually gross in the box office.
I'll be interesting to hear more of that from you. But we'll start with Independence Day. From, I believe, 1996. Roland Emmerich. This is back when I think he was still cutting his teeth a little bit on these big disaster movies. I mean, this is the same guy that made, I believe, 2012 and Moonfall.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of media.
Yeah. No, this kind of movie too. There's these big CGI sets of just destruction, large-scale destruction, and the main character's barely making it out, just barely slip. I feel like I've seen 4 Roland Emmerich movies where a plane just barely makes it out of a massive destruction explosion. You got to throw that one in there.
Yeah, absolutely. Every time it's okay, my movie is going to be just massive worldwide destruction with highly personalized characters, and then there's always going to be just a really close call.
Yeah. Very, very brief synopsis. Aliens attack Earth.
I think that works.
That's no, and I guess if we're talking more specifically about the movie, it follows a bunch of different characters, particularly the president and the government and the leaders of the military, but then also small characters like Will Smith as the fighter pilot and Jeff Goldblum as well. I guess he's not. I guess he's pretty important when you put it all together, but
yeah, he's I can't remember. He's the scientist. Type of character.
This movie and actually the other movie we're going to talk about, another thing they have in common is they actually do a pretty decent job of juggling their ensemble casts, which they both have. They both have a ton of. I mean, both of these. You look at the cast list and it's wow, there's a ton of people, especially Mars Attacks, but we'll get to that. But there's a lot of people in this one too, and I can kind of see some of the casting ideas. Will Smith, this was still as he was becoming a leading man more so than already a full-fleshed one.
Yeah, and then
And
well, yeah, I mean, going off.
he was relying more on the personality that he got off of Bel Air and a couple, and I guess Men in Black too.
Yeah, that was my question. Was Men in Black before this, or like I know that there was some that were after this because this was 96,
I don't know, but it was like the same era where like he was mostly banking on his personality because he has a great personality, and I mean Jeff Goldblum's kind of done that too. Although I imagine I don't know
Oh wow, Men in Black was
tired of it at that
97, so he did this and
Okay,
then he went right into Men in Black.
Yeah, wow, that's weird.
This movie released in 96 and the first Men in Black released in 1997.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
And then I don't know when
He
the
had
second one released, but I think the second one is when he started, like, Will Smith really started to become like more of a leading man, because I feel like he took more of the show away.
In 2000, in 2001, he played Muhammad Ali in a biopic and was nominated for it.
And then in 2002, Men in Black 2 came out.
Okay, yeah. No, well, I mean, honestly, he probably would have gotten Men in Black 2 no matter what. But I think that was... This is what happens with a lot of young, like, popular actors that get popular quick. And they start out somewhat banking on their personality because they're just very, very likable stars. You could have put Will Smith in the lead or second lead of any movie in the 90s, and I guess even now, and people are going to watch because he's entertaining.
True,
and but after Ali, people are like, okay, and like I said, this happens with a lot of actors. They'll decide, I want to take on a serious role. I want to show the industry that I'm like capable of doing some shit like this. And then they get a big role like something like Ali. Some actors just don't succeed in that, but I would say he definitely did, leading up to when he slapped the guy on stage. But that's a different story for another time.
Hey man, right or wrong, shit was hilarious. So like,
yeah, I know, right? In accordance to this movie, though, I couldn't help but notice they introduce him very late.
Yeah, I didn't remember that.
25 minutes into the movie. I did not remember that either. Like, I couldn't tell. I don't know. I couldn't tell both because he's obviously the most recognizable person in the movie. One of the most, or probably the most recognizable. And I don't know how recognizable he was at the time, but probably still pretty big, bankable star.
Yeah.
And also, I just remember I even remembered before watching this, having seen it before. He takes up a lot of the story. He ends up taking up a lot of the story. Like, the story does follow him a lot.
Yeah.
So that was a little surprising, but I guess they had to do what they could with an ensemble cast. This movie was also 2.5 hours long.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering,
it's a really
with that
long
ensemble
movie that
cast,
doesn't really. I mean, it does feel like it, but like at the same time, like, I guess at least the last watch, because I haven't watched it in a while, like, I was just more so, like, re-enjoying a movie that I really enjoyed, so it didn't feel like it, but, you know what I mean?
This movie is very entertaining.
It's a good movie.
Very entertaining.
It's a really good movie.
No. Yes. When I say it juggles its ensemble cast, you get a lot of entertaining moments with, like, pretty much all of the characters. And, that could be handled. I mean, not every alien invasion. I know we literally picked two that literally do that, but War of the Worlds just follows one guy and his family.
True. Yeah. I mean, there are a lot of alien movies out there that don't really, like, they don't have.
A lot of movies in general don't rely on that. A lot of movies in general don't rely on that because it's difficult to do. You only have a somewhat of a run. Like, it's more common in TV shows because they have a whole season to flesh out those characters, whereas a movie you have to do it quick. You have to find ways to get things that you want across about these characters in a short time span because you only get like the 2-hour runtime or 2.5-hour runtime.
Right.
And this movie probably was cut down a bit. They probably had more, and that's probably the part that makes it the most difficult when you have to edit down to 2 hours, because you probably have so much good material that never sees the screen. That's what deleted scenes are for.
True. Which R.I.P. the art of the deleted scene. There used to just be absolute bangers of deleted scenes, and
Not
now
for me,
you don't
baby. I got
see.
Blu-rays.
Said,
I'm collecting
he
Blu-rays.
said, "I got Blu-rays." I mean, good man. That's how
I
you should do
am.
it.
Yeah, I'm trying to bring back physical media, at least for myself. Or just keep it
I like
alive,
that.
man. They're digitizing everything, man. We got to have some things that are our own.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I wholeheartedly agree with that. Like, we do have to have some copies. We can have a conversation completely about that, but I'll digress for now and
Plus,
say that for another time.
it's nice to have these when you don't have good if your internet's not working well or something.
Yeah, that's what I do like about. You remember?
It's my own
Okay, this
personal
is a
library,
tangent,
my own personal streaming
but you
service.
remember like back in the day when you could download movies to like your iPod and shit. Dude,
Yeah.
I lived for that. That was like
Oh yeah.
that was prime
Absolutely.
for me.
Okay. Sorry, we've gone off on a couple tangents
Yes, it's
already.
okay. It's okay.
Trying to talk about Independence Day. So going back to the movie. Um, yeah, no, there's I really look, man. People, I think, especially because this director has built up this reputation, they look at some movies like this sometimes that kind of with big scale destruction and a lot of quick and witty lines and all that as I don't want to say lowbrow, but like a lesser tier and to a degree.
Right.
And I'm gonna actually make this point even harder with the next movie. But some movies aren't trying to be any more than what they are. And so what this movie's trying to do, it is great. And I enjoy pretty much all the things they do. I don't know. I guess I'm thinking right now about like the major destruction scenes in the beginning with all the major cities, and they. I don't know. There's a lot of. I think what I like the most about it is it's a very serious situation, and they still find like good, fun moments to like enjoy out of it. Like even just like the president on a TV going, "Please, please, if you're leaving, do so in an orderly fashion." It cuts to just absolute chaos in the city.
Right.
Like I don't know, it just makes me laugh. I also I want to shout out to the dog because they totally could have killed the dog in that situation, and they decided to give him like a heroic, brave moment where he jumps to his safety. Yeah, they don't just do it with a plane; they do it with dogs.
Yeah, bro, and that's one of those
Barely
moments where
escapes the
like
fire.
you're really hoping the dog is all right because who likes to see any type of
Right.
animal not being all right in any film like that always
Well,
just pisses me off in
movies, especially all ages movies, sometimes don't have balls when it comes to killing characters, and so. Especially if you spent even like 2 scenes getting to know them. But with the dog, they can make the argument, oh, it's just a dog. Although I think in our day and age, some people get more upset about a dog's death than a human's.
Yeah, literally, bro. Like I know so many people nowadays where it's literally just like, now I care about the dog more.
There were a couple weird edits, or like weird times in the movie during their first dogfight where they get their asses kicked. There was one cut that showed Will Smith's face in the plane, and then showed like a plane getting blown up, which, if I didn't know any better, would have really made me think that he just died.
No, I know
there-
exactly what you're talking about. It's like
Okay.
we see
There was another one like that too, but I didn't write it down.
it's like we see this like this incredible I guess not really that incredible, but like incredible moment, in the middle of a dogfight, you see a big boom and explosion, you're like, that guy's definitely dead. Just kidding.
Yeah, right. No, yeah. So I was like, oh, okay. And well, it was after other guys were dying too, and it could have been an impactful conclusion to that scene, him dying. But obviously, I get why they didn't. But yeah, no, that was just weird, and it threw me off a bit. There was another one like that too. I just didn't write it down. And there was another. I'm just getting my minor criticisms out of the way. There was another part that kind of threw me off was when they decided after the alien had killed all those scientists and whatever and started screeching into the president's brain, they shot it dead. And while they were shooting it dead, I guess the sound effect choice they chose for this was screeching cats. It sounded like cat. No, it sounded like a bunch of loud, annoyed meows. That's what the aliens. I don't know.
I guess they probably did like a sound, like a couple of sound bites kind of put together, but like one of the sounds was
No, they tried to
predominantly
make
a
it
cat.
sound obscure, but it didn't sound obscure enough. Like it sounded like cats.
Hey man, you know cats are technically aliens. I'm looking at one right now, and he definitely looks like an alien.
Yeah. That one cat from Captain Marvel, if you've ever seen it.
I have.
With the tentacles in its mouth.
Yes, that cat's a freak.
That's the one thing I remember about that movie.
That's the only thing you remember about that movie is the tentacle cat? Okay. Put it on the list.
Wasn't a huge fan. Yeah, I don't care. Okay, I just have to, I have to say this. This is another thing for both movies. I don't entirely love how other cultures around the world are always portrayed. There was something like in Mars Attacks too, but I thought it was a little more annoying here
because this movie takes itself more seriously.
Well, yeah, but yes, and I guess you could say they're taking the piss in the other one.
They literally are.
But I don't know, man. Not everybody in Africa lives in a hut and carries a spear.
I mean, you're so very, very right. This movie was also
and
made
also
in the 90s.
Also, my girlfriend is Muslim. She comes from a Muslim family, and a very known thing in Islam is that they pray on their hands and knees, facing the Mecca. And they show a clip of a bunch of people lined up doing that, and it cuts to the Taj Mahal, which is not that. I don't know. It's like, hey, let's take people from this brown country and then people from this brown country and just mush them together. No one will notice.
All in the same country because they're.
But
brown.
Anybody who would know, like even a little bit, would know that those are very much not the same places.
They're very much different.
I don't know.
Different places.
It was just I guess they wanted to have a scene of people kneeling in front of the Taj Mahal and be like, yeah, this is what people do in front of the Taj Mahal. They bow down to it or whatever. I don't know. It's just, I don't know. I had to bring that up. That was so annoying.
No, I hear you. Absolutely.
And I guess another favorite thing of mine, because I was talking about banking personalities with actors, and there are certain actors that do that, and two great examples of that, especially early in his career, were Will Smith, but also Jeff Goldblum. And it's honestly, they create all of a sudden in like the final third of the film, this great little character dynamic between the two of them. Which is honestly the best way, I guess, to handle ensemble cast is find a clever way to converge their stories, and their stories converge, and then they have this thing to do together, and they just have some great back and forth in there. I almost used from my intro when he goes, I don't hear no fat lady. He's like, forget about the fat lady. She's so too focused on the fat lady. Just get us out of here.
Please, just get us out of here. You're too focused on that. We gotta go.
That almost...
The ship's gonna explode.
I don't know for sure. But that might have been off the cuff. Or he might have just said that off rip, because that's just such a great follow-up, and it's so fitting Jeff Goldblum, like I mean, basically, there's a lot of movies, especially in the 90s, where if you cast Jeff Goldblum, you better just expect, like, him, like, he's not, I mean, he's talented enough he has enough range to play different roles, but his personality in itself is so entertaining that a lot of directors will probably just casted him. And we're like, dude, just be you. You know that guy you were in Jurassic Park? Just be him.
Just
be him, like, again.
Just recreate the same person you were. Thanks, Jeff.
Well, like, literally, just be that fun. And that is who he is. Like, that's just, like, that is his personality. So for him, it's not even hard.
Right. No, agreed.
But they work great together. Will Smith just works great in, like, a buddy cop situation, for lack of a better word.
Yeah, just like a tag
That's
team,
why
a duo, good duo situation. I mean, even in I Am Legend, he was good with like himself and
with a dog,
and iRobot with a robot.
Him and Sonny, yeah.
Sonny.
Men in Black is him and Tommy Lee Jones, but
a lot of his movies are him and someone. What's the other one with Bad Boys?
Bad Boys, yep. Him and Martin Lawrence.
Add
those to the list, by the way.
Oh, please add those to the list.
Oh,
Great
man,
movies.
Dude. Man, I don't even know. It will be a large spinning wheel to decide my intro line for that episode. Jeez. Those movies are chock full of quotes.
Yeah, those will be good. They're added to the list, don't worry.
And, well, I guess just to wrap up, like, my comment about Will Smith and Jeff Goldblum, for their first line they actually say to each other is, and this is another one I wish I could have found a way as an intro, but Jeff Goldblum goes, "You really think you could fly that thing?" Will Smith's like, "You really think you can do all that bullshit you just said?" It was basically like a fair enough situation.
Right. Yeah, no, it was like, all right, yeah, fair, let's get it going.
Yeah, no, there's still some good. I mean, we've kind of been on this point for the past few episodes, but it goes without saying the lighting is great. Because
the lighting
if for nothing
else,
they used to know how to do that. I know two particular scenes that stood out to me was the president's speech. He was lit, was kind of added a sense of aura to him, which it needed to, because he needed to hype him up. But he just looked cool, and that was a big aspect of it. Right. And then also and there's other moments, but just the ones I noticed. There's also when they do the little mini wedding to get married, because he might die on this little trip he's gonna go. They have Jeff Goldblum and the other lady as their witnesses, and they're like showing them while they're reading the vows, and she's got like the light, just like some kind of light hitting her face directly, and or like her eyes directly.
Yeah,
I don't know. It was cool, and it was kind of like a emotional scene, sort of like.
Yeah, I mean,
like a lost love scene. So it was nice. It just fit.
Very good unironic sincerity, and I also would say that like. In terms of the cinematography, stuff like that, the film is like, it's a good straddle between like the golden age of still using like miniatures, like for example, like the White House was a scale model of the White House when they like blew it up, but also like using CGI, like when they blow up the fucking.
No, this was the golden age, dog. We talked about it during our Lord of the Rings pod. That was
right,
like the perfect. There was never, like, it could not have been better while they were still making practical use of real sets and stuff, while still just learning all the cool things you could do with CGI.
Damn, the Lord of the Rings episode was almost a year ago. That was 11 months ago.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
If we keep this going on for a long time, I wouldn't even mind doing, like, revisiting those.
We have to do The Hobbit. We'll have to do The Hobbit.
Yeah, you're right. No, well, that would be, like, way down the road anyway.
Absolutely.
Okay, I guess if one more like small issue I have, I guess I don't want to call it continuity. I guess it's just a little bit annoying thing about the story, and this is, I guess, things a lot of movies do. But I just feel like, man, I don't know. I don't have a smart way to say this, but those mini ships are kind of OP, no? I just feel like when they have all those planes going at the ship, and there's the shields up, whatever, and they open up a little valve, and like thousands of those things fly out. Every single one of them is indestructible.
I mean, you gotta think about
I
it
was
though.
like,
It's like
man,
it's
they should have
alien.
just used those to wipe out the world.
It's
They would have been
alien
done in a week.
tech. They're supposed to be
I'm just
OP.
saying. Yeah, I'm just saying. Well, the problem with OP things in movies is you're setting them up to be OP, and I just feel like with those ships, as powerful as they are, the aliens should have wrapped this up by like lunch.
Yeah, I guess until we fly ship into their ship and give them a virus and then blow them up and then fly out.
Yeah, sure. Yes, but they had 3 days before we did that, and I'm just saying if they really wanted to, they should have just taken all those little ships and just start carpet shooting everything. They had thousands of them.
That is fair. That is fair. You have a very fair point.
But yeah, I had to let that out. It doesn't ruin the movie for me anything, but I just couldn't not think about it the whole time. Like if they really wanted to, they probably could have won this.
Nah, I hear you on that.
Okay. Anything else?
I think that's
From you,
it for
Luttrell?
me. No, I mean this is just it's a good film for me, all around. I really like, again, as I touched on it, the unironic sincerity of the movie. It's a good movie in terms of like the spins the first part of it, just showing like the shadows moving over the moon and the slow like ominous positioning of the ships like over the over global landmarks, stuff like that, and then obviously it grows into this whole global invasion. And for a movie made in what do we say, 1996, like it's pretty damn good. Also, that was the year I was born, so like fucking nice. Yeah, I think
With
that's that's all I got.
what is your rating?
Yeah, for this one, again, I really enjoyed the movie. I like a lot of the scenes from it. It's one of
You
my
already gave the summary, brother.
one of my top ones. I'm gonna give it a 4.5 Squadcast podcast thumbs up out of 5.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, this was a fun movie that I grew up with, so I'm very familiar with it. And I've always felt it was entertaining. I haven't watched it in a while, but watching it again, it still is entertaining. That runtime flies through. I said my issues with it, but they don't really kill it for me. I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5.
All right, that's like
Squadcast podcast.
That's like a 4.25
Okay.
overall. Squadcast podcast thumbs up out of 5.
Okay. Okay. Time for Mars Attacks.
Dude, let's fucking go. The anti-blockbuster meat grinder of a movie. Mars Attacks, baby.
Charles, I'm just gonna be completely honest. I fucking loved this movie.
Dude, yes!
I had a blast watching this, dude.
Awesome, dude. I remember I grew up watching this movie. Another
This
1996
movie
banger.
This movie knows exactly what it wants to be, and it is that on every level. It is. I went into this thinking I might just, I don't know, I probably would think it's too stupid, but it's stupidly brilliant. I mean, it's so good. I just wanted to get that off right off the bat. I had a blast watching this. You go ahead, introduce it.
Well, I mean, what really is there to say about this movie besides it's pretty much your classic, like, well, it's an alien invasion movie first and foremost, but it also plays on, like, that whole anti-blockbuster theme of, like, okay, it wants to take itself seriously, but not too seriously. Basically, the premise is aliens invade Earth, we're trying to make peace with them, and then all hell breaks loose, and it's the perfect combination between, like, a Looney Tunes-esque, Martians attack, like, sophisticated galactic empire, but they also play jokes mixed with, like, your classic blunderous, military force trying to be, all friendly and then using force to, take back their planet. And it's just a great mixture of both of them. And, it has to be a staple at every household. That's all I'm going to say. It has to be.
Mars Attacks. I mean, like you said, it it works very well for what it does. I don't know if it's even trying to be serious at all. It's very, very unserious. But everything it's trying to do works really well. And frankly, this is a great time to give some praise to what I think is the main reason why this movie works so well. And that is good old Tim Burton.
Timmy B, baby.
I don't know if you've even noticed. Have we done another? I know we did Pee-wee's Big Adventure by him. Have we done anything else? I thought maybe we had.
Any other Tim Burton? Didn't we do? Is Coraline a Tim Burton film?
No, it's not.
No.
It's another. I forgot that name though.
Yeah, you know what I'm
it's
talking
all right.
about.
It doesn't.
I don't know. We've been doing this for over a year now, so we've
watched
a lot of movies.
But the reason I bring it up is because man, you know a Tim Burton movie when you're seeing it, and I don't think anyone really puts him in like the upper echelon of filmmakers, but I cannot picture cinema without him. I mean, he's
kind of a staple at this point, if you ask me. And again, to your point, it's like you know a Tim Burton movie when you see a Tim Burton movie, and it's like there's something magical about that in itself. But then you toss it into a movie like this, bro. Like it catches you kind of off guard, but then you're instantly thrown into it, and it's like this is fucking incredible. Like this is literally incredible.
Well, I'll tell you this: if anybody can make a weird movie, if you want to make your movie weird, hire Tim Burton. Hire Timmy B.
Timmy B.
He has I don't know. He has the perfect touch on what is weird, which may be too weird for some people, but if you're somebody who can really embrace what is being presented on the screen, it won't be too weird for you. But it is, I don't know. Even just the color grading of his movies, you know how colors will really pop out. And people will dress him brightly. I don't know if you've ever seen Edward Scissorhands. Like that. Honestly, the characters in this movie reminded me of those characters sometimes, which, again, isn't surprising.
Yeah, Edward Scissorhands, dude, we gotta put it on the list. I do like that movie a lot. I really do.
Yeah, me too. I'm down. I'll add it to the list. But even, just the people in his movies all seem to have, a very similar personality or way about them. They're a little bit off. And they're
a little bit off.
They're a little goofy.
Yeah, a little bit goofy, a little bit weird. And dude, honestly, this cast for it works out so well. I mean, dude, what we have Jack Nicholson, Jack Black, Danny DeVito. Dude, Ray J's in this movie.
That is very funny, actually. Sarah Jessica Parker, Pierce Brosnan, Michael J. Fox.
Yeah, Michael J. Fox, that's a good one.
Natalie Portman, who in our last pod episode, she played the daughter in a movie.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Is this what made you think of Mars Attacks?
Dude, no, I was just thinking of Independence Day movies and this movie, or 4th of July movies, and this movie's just. I think this movie's just been on my mind for a while as well.
Yeah, but no, this is another thing with its cast. There isn't really one main character, and there's a bunch of different characters we follow, and which is very underrated. I don't know if it's underrated. It's just not done enough because it's hard to pull off.
Right.
Which is funny to me that a goofy satire like this is able to pull it off. Maybe this is the kind of genre that it suits. I don't know. But I had a lot of laughs. Pam Grier's in this too.
Yeah.
And she's I love the part where she finds her sons while she's driving the bus and gets all hard on him and the whole bus claps.
Yeah, right. Dude, some of my favorite parts of this movie are just watching the aliens be absolute menaces. And I mean, what's the one scene when they're trying to start the peace treaty or whatever it is for it, and then they just start getting. Then everybody just starts getting vaporized by these massive head aliens that, mind you, only speak in noises.
Right, I know.
Like, they're just like,
that's very funny.
Bro, it's amazing.
They do a lot of funny things to like poke fun. But like that in itself is probably the funniest thing to me. That literally like 4 or 5 times in a row, like, hey, they want to make peace now, and they think they're gonna make peace, and then they just kill everybody.
Right.
and then like because it's a goofy ass Tim Burton movie, they'll even show the aliens like laughing,
right? Like
laughing about it.
The aliens are thinking to themselves, "Wow, these guys really can't be that stupid again, can they?" Oh, we lied. They really can.
Yeah. They. Man, I'm sorry. This is kind of. I'm bringing this point out kind of out of order because I already talked about this. But in addition to all the weirdness, I think what really hit my mind when I thought of how Tim Burton's the master of weird is the part where the guy's visiting his grandma, and she has the fake cat. Which you're not entirely sure if the movie's jokingly like making a bad prop, or if like that woman thinks her cat is alive, or if she's just that's her cat. That's her fake cat.
Bro, that's just her cat, man. Like that's just her cat.
And it never says anything more. You see that part. I don't know. That's so funny. It's silly to me. And also the movie's goofy, like not only the aliens laugh, they'll do silly things sometimes. But they, speaking of that blowing up Congress scene, I almost used the intro line for the pod when that happens. Natalie Portman goes, "Well, I guess it wasn't the dove." I don't know, I thought that was really funny because they thought that them flying the dove was seen as a hostile act by the
right.
They just started zapping
flew
at people.
The dove, which is like oh, this is our peace treaty, and they're like, oh my god, kill everybody.
Yeah, well, clearly they just wanted to kill them anyway, but it was just funny because when that second one happens, it's like, guess it wasn't the dove.
Yeah, right. Like,
but, she's got a couple one-liners.
Yeah, no, there's some good.
That's always another. It's always another fun thing about '90s movies, and when we put them on the pod, is we see these actors that are way more famous later on in their lives, but this is like when they're still starting out. They clearly already saw something in Natalie Portman because she was getting roles like this already. Like, okay, this girl's gonna be a leading lady in a few years, no question about it. So let's start getting into her. And I know this isn't as much a serious movie, but Heat is. And that was a year later.
Definitely fits that. Dude, you know what's funny to me? It's like these movies came out, and then a year later, some of these same exact actors played in like, Independence Day was a massive movie. Don't get me wrong, but like again, to the point of like Will Smith, Men in Black, and then like all these actors that play in these '90s films, a year or 2 years later, just like insanely like famous blow up movies. You know what I mean? It's really cool to see.
Also funny seeing Jack Black in a role like before he was known for himself. So he just plays like some dumb dude.
Yeah, right. He's just a guy. What's his character? Billy Glenn Norris.
He's the parent. I guess he's the kid that the parents actually loved.
Yeah, right.
Like the other kid.
And then, dude, anything that Danny DeVito is good, even if it's for a short moment. I mean, he's just a gambler in this movie, but it's still just Danny DeVito. You know what I mean?
That was a little weird and made me wonder if they I don't know if they wanted to give him some more screen time, but they couldn't because they were already running short or had to cut stuff down. Because you saw him with that one scene, and then like later he was about to like join the gang, and I was like, what? I forgot he was even in this movie. What the hell?
Right? They just gave him a quick little cameo.
They obviously they kill him off almost instantly, but like before that happens in the moment, I'm like, well, man. Is he gonna join the gang? Because I really don't know anything I don't know. This is only the second time we're seeing him. I wonder. Or it's possible maybe he had another couple scenes that just got cut out.
Right. Well,
I
I
don't
mean,
know.
I
It's
also think it
possible.
had to do with budgeting, which is something I want to touch on at the beginning of it, and just like a real. So the budget for Independence Day, which, mind you, it grossed $306.2 million domestically, finishing at 817.4 million worldwide. The budget for that movie was approximately $75 million, but the cast was so like rich, where I'm like, did they just not pay the actors? And then we flipped the script to Mars Attacks. They spent, it's estimated, between 70 and 80 million, and then Warner Bros spent an additional 20 million in marketing campaign, and it only grossed $37 million domestically and
It was a bomb.
101.4 million worldwide. But to this day, I know so many people are like, "No, Mars Attacks is a fucking great movie. It just
Well,
bombed
just
when
because
it
people
first came
know it,
out."
don't did you? I mean, no, you weren't
I
alive.
was literally
Uh,
being bored.
yeah. Well, anyone our age who likes it could not have seen it in theaters.
True.
So, and you know, don't forget, man. This was back when home video was a very prominent thing. Like, though they didn't even care how they did. I mean, they cared a little bit, obviously, but they knew they were going to be able to make a lot of the money that they didn't make in the theater on home video sale. That's gone now, so it's a little bit harder. But
Right.
and you'll hear any actor, director, filmmaker, producer talk about how it's harder now because they don't have that.
Yeah,
But
everything's
yeah,
going
this
to
was back
stream and shit
when.
like that.
So I don't know. Maybe it did a killer on home video, or I know I watched it when I was younger on HBO, so it probably did great on the premium channels. Yeah, a lot of people have heard of this. It's kind of become somewhat of a cult classic, and on top of that, it has Tim Burton's name and a bunch of actors' names like Jack Nicholson's attached to it, so it was always going to be like somewhat known. And it is actually good, you know. It's not just like a forgettable, terrible movie.
Yeah.
So, like, there's no there. I think they even knew at the time, like, they had something with staying power. So, it's
Yeah.
not. I wouldn't. Yeah, I guess I wouldn't think too much about its box office numbers.
Yeah, no, I just thought that was a very interesting point there, because I was doing some research on it, because they came out the exact same, like around the same time, and I was
Hmm.
like, I love this movie, but the other one did like leagues better. But honestly, to your point, like, I obviously wasn't thinking about it in terms of like who was actually going to the box office to see that back in the in the '90s, as opposed to like people like you and I who watched it years and years later when I could cognitively understand this movie and like actually enjoy
Yeah,
it. You know what I mean?
yeah. What I wanna see is the behind the scenes of the CGI of Sarah Jessica Parker on the dog's body, and even before that, when they have her head like on a tray. Because I don't know, it's probably cool to see. This is back when they had to, all they could do was green screen, and she, I don't know, I just imagine it was probably funny or cool seeing like the real shots of her like dressed in like a green screen, like almost morph suit minus her head, and
Yeah,
like,
you're right. That had to
because you
be
could tell,
very
you could almost
interesting.
tell if you watch it with how her severed head moves around. Sometimes you can almost tell that it's her walking around and like doing specific movements so that her head moves around in the shot. And I don't know, I want to see what that looked like behind the scenes. So it's a really cool, fun process.
Yeah,
Or
no,
except for the animators.
I'm sure there's somewhere where you can see like an in depth, like behind the scenes on what was
Yes,
going on. There's got to be.
I guess I'll have to get the Blu-ray.
Guess we'll have to get the Blu-ray.
um. Also, just like I said, because there's little individual funny things that happen, but there's also just aspects of the movie that are just funny and good, like satirical jokes in and of themselves. Like the fact that everybody in Vegas is like completely out of the loop.
Yeah, they're all just
And I don't
gambling and
know.
hanging out. They have no idea what's
Yeah,
happening,
no.
and then
Well, you know, the casinos don't have like windows
yeah,
or
no windows,
clocks, so no
no
one.
TVs for the outside. Like, there's no news on. They're just gambling.
Yeah, it's just it's funny because like it takes like a satirical movie like this in a sense to even show Vegas during this time, and then to show it like that where everybody's just like, what's going on? I don't know. I'm gonna go play at the craps.
Yeah, right. I don't know. I'm gonna go hit roulette. Put 1,000 on black.
Yeah. But another movie or another thing that I think I found great about this movie is that it did still find some time for some really creative, like symbolic filmmaking, in my opinion. Oh God, I wish I did. I wish I was more specific about this in the notes. But basically, the fates of a lot of people are kind of like, I don't know, symbolic in a way. No, I'm not dropping this. I had a great point here. Hold on. Well, okay. I mean, just one example is that what's her name? Sarah Jessica Parker's character was kind of like full of herself and kind of like, I don't know, snotty or whatever, and also and a cheater, I guess. I guess they were both. But she, I don't know. You could almost argue she's got an airhead, or she's too much in her own head, and then she ends up actually sever. I mean, not in a decapitated, messed up way. Literally, she's still alive while it's happening.
Right. But like,
and she was also obsessed with her dog, so to see it happen like that is
where her head's
funny.
on the dog. Yeah, it's kind of like poetic.
She gets
justice.
switched with her dog. Oh, you love your dog so much, now you get to be your dog.
You love this dog? Here you go. You are the dog.
No, and even like I don't know, the president having a flag planted on him, his first lady getting covered by the chandelier that she was so focused on. God, how does? No, I guess that's nothing. But yeah, man, okay. But yeah, I had a better point about that. But if whenever you watch again, just pay attention to how people die, because like some of them seem to have like a very clear purpose in them, and I just thought that was clever.
I agree, and I'll definitely pay more attention to that next time I watch it, which will probably be very soon, because this movie's just great.
Okay, I have one small criticism, and it's not even really enough. Well, yeah, kind of fact. It's not really. It is kind of a real criticism, but it's not really going to affect my rating. So. But I kind of feel it even stronger after Independence Day. I like this more than Independence Day. More overall, like between the two movies, this is the one I like more. But the one thing I wish it had done better that Independence Day did kind of well is that although they both did a good job with their ensemble cast, I thought they could have maybe spent a little more time to try to find a clever way to connect those storylines with the resolution. Because the way, I don't know, I guess the way it was edited at the end kind of felt like it was all at once at random a little bit. Like they found out with like 10 minutes left in the movie that the aliens' heads will explode from the bad music, which is hilarious. Yeah. Which is hilarious, by the way. I love that. I love that. The
worst song ever joke. Is How You Kill Them.
I love that joke. That's hilarious. I don't know. I just thought they could have. That in itself could have been maybe done earlier or just like better supported.
Right.
And yeah, I don't know. I think I don't know. The way it was kind of put together at the end felt like they were trying to wrap up everybody's story, so they were getting in any scene they could of each character. It just felt a little bit meshed. So like I don't know. I wasn't exactly sure how to like get fully immersed. And I know the movie's not trying to get you fully immersed because it's just you're supposed to just kind of laugh at what they're doing the whole time. But they still had characters, and I still wanted to follow those characters, you know? And so that just made it a little more difficult than I think it should have been. And again, it doesn't really affect the rating for me because they did everything else in this movie so well. I don't. If there's one thing they come up a little bit short on, that. You know, not a huge deal. And it also just didn't really move. They still did a great job overall with the cast.
Right. Agreed. Have highly agreed.
And I guess the last thing I want to say is I loved the second to last shot of the movie with the guy who was reconnecting with his family. The former boxer guy, I forgot his name, but with Pam Grier, and you find out at the end that he's alive, and this last shot is just showing him walking up to like the half destroyed apartment complex. And
Yeah, I
just
think
looking really
Byron
cool.
Byron Williams.
Byron. It's really well, like it's well shot and well framed. It's a very cool way to like conclude everything.
No, I agree. It was good. And Ray J was their son.
That is interesting, to say the least.
All right.
Ratings?
Yep.
I'll go first. This movie was so fucking fun and did exactly what it wanted to do. It was very funny, not just the little jokes, but just the way everything about the presentation of the ideas they had. 5 out of 5.
Hey, you got no quarrels from me either. That's a 5 out of 5 for a 5 out of 5 Squadcast podcast. Thumbs up out of 5.
Yeah. I was not expecting to, before I watched this, that I was going to give it a 5 out of 5, but I fucking loved this.
That makes me...
Good pick. Good pick, Latrell.
Thank you. That makes me very happy.
Yes. All right, we did it. There it is.
We did it. Yay. Episode 32.
Okay. Yeah, it was awesome. The really cool episode. And I honestly, I have a new movie. I have a new movie I could put among my favorites.
That genuinely makes me happy because
I'd only ever seen bits and pieces of Mars Attacks, and I knew it was what it was, but it looked so ridiculous. I don't know if I would have
watched it fully through, but yeah, then you
I don't know if I ever would have watched it if not for this pod. This is what's great about this pod, is we get to discover great movies, and that we probably would not have. We're giving ourselves reasons to watch movies, because sometimes you just need a reason. Because I feel like putting a movie on isn't enough all the time. Even people like me who are into movies.
Absolutely, I'm happy we do this.
Yeah, I'm happy we do this too. Thank you for doing it with me, Latrell.
Thank you for continuing to do it with me too, Dan.
And thank you to any and all who listen. This was another fun episode.
Yeah, shout out our 12 subscribers.
We don't know. Yeah, all right.
Woo!
I don't know what exactly our next episode will be, but it will be a trilogy.
It will be a trilogy.
We'll figure that out soon, and we'll see you guys next time. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Peace.